All right, everybody, welcome back. It's week. I don't know what week it is. That was a bad start. It's week number. Doesn't matter.
Lots of weeks.
It is
episode number 4.
Episode number 4 of our season 2, our ongoing world of soon TM named.
Yes, of unnamed
world, but we have a pretty good setup so far going on. So tonight we're gonna dive in a little bit deeper on Heroes and Thieves. My name is Greg.
Deeper. My name is Michael.
Okay. All right. And with that note, do you have anything to say?
I do want to just recap that last week's episode was awesome. And we got a lot of good stuff done last episode. So that's all.
Do you want to
nothing in particular.
Should we do a quick 60-second recap of what had happened?
Yeah, we built the first town. Aside from Paragon, the ancient destroyed civilization, we built a city by the sea. We didn't name it. We said we were going to come up with the names off stream or off podcast. I didn't. Did you?
I came up with a few ideas. I'm going to shoot at you here in a minute.
Okay. And then we came up with, how the city works, how the people are. There's a woman in the city who is Leviathan born, who is kind of the speaker of the city. And that was really cool how we have this opposing thing. And she's kind of the main target of the Sons of Fire, which are the fanatical Phoenix-born people. And these in the city, there's a faction. There's not a faction. The army is comprised of very, very competent warriors and fighters. They're called the Wave Crashers.
Yes.
And yeah, they're very intimidating. And there's a underwater mine full of, what do we call
it?
Maritite that is special. It's a special ore that only they have. So it's very valuable. And there's like a major port city. So that's a quick sum up. And I'm stoked about it. I love that city so far.
Yeah, I'm actually really happy with that center of religious, the woman that's the center of like the religion there.
Yeah.
And I'm also really happy with the Maritite. I think that's a pretty cool invention to give our city some layers.
Yeah, and I forgot a big feature of the city is a massive tower in which the librarian lives and is kind of the center place in the whole world of like tomes of knowledge where all knowledge is kind of stored and kept in this tower. So I forgot that. Yeah. Anyway, I'm ready to hear those names. I'm excited.
Well, don't get too excited.
I'm really pumped.
So, a quick preface. We're going to get into the content soon, I promise. But a quick preface of this last weekend, I've actually been on shout out to 2 websites. First one is Incarnate, where you can build maps. I've been doing that.
Incarnate.
And I've been building a map of our our world. It's not very, obviously our world's not very well built yet, so it's a lot of gray landmass. But I've been building the map. And also on worldanvil.com, I've been slowly building an archive of the things we've talked about. There's a lot to go still, but I've been trying to keep record on there, and I will continue to do so. But on Incarnate, while I was building our city, which is just right now named City by the Sea, mm-hmm. I came up with these ideas.
All right, I'm so pumped.
And you're going to know exactly where the inspiration came from. First idea, Knocked. N-O-C-T.
Okay.
Second idea. I'm going to spit them at you.
Let me hear them. Yeah,
I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ideas. So Knocked, N-O-C-T. Second idea, Nox, N-O-X. Third idea, Tenebris or Tenebros. Fourth idea, 1, 2, 3, 4. Fifth idea, Umbra, or something to do with Umbra or Umbral. And last idea, straight up just Luna. Just shooting out some ideas there. Those are all like what Roman. Those are Roman names, words. Mm-hmm.
A lot of them have to do with like the moon or dark or night.
Which is the
of
theme of our city, right? Like it really comes alive at night. So
yeah, it's like the city of the moon.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So that's kind of what I was just shooting out there. You can do any one of those names or like a variation of those things.
I like Umbra.
Umbra?
Of all those you said.
Umbra? Yeah. That's what I was thinking too. Umbra, or if we can come up with something that has Umbra in it. But Umbra, I think, is a good working name. So, what do you...
Let's settle on that for now.
You want to settle on that? Okay.
Yeah, and as we talk about it, we might want to mix it up more the more we use it, But for now, I think it's good to stick with.
Okay, then I'm gonna start changing all the all the references. Instead of City by the Sea, it's gonna say Umbra.
Umbra, yeah.
So,
in Umbra.
There we go.
Cool.
Okay. Well, now that we've got that out of the way, let's dive right in, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Word number 1 for this episode.
Wait a minute.
Oh, go ahead.
Wait, pause. What are we diving into? Are we building out the city? What are we focusing on anything, or are we going to wait for the words to guide us?
The words will guide us. I think
so. We're not going to plan out like we're going to get a city done this episode. We're just going to
in my mind, I kind of had another city done. So I think Umbra for now is good. Obviously, there's a lot to do, but we got the main premise. I think it's a good city. We're going to go back to it for sure. But for now, let's build out another city or another locale. It doesn't have to be necessarily a city.
But if the words persuade us to go somewhere else, we can do whatever.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
So that's our direction. Okay. Word number 1 is missile.
Like something you shoot that is generally rocket propelled in our day.
Yeah, in our day it is, yeah.
Unless it's a magic missile.
Yeah. Unless it's a magic missile.
We just have arcane magics in our world.
Which I think we should.
Which is there bound to be. I mean, there is because it's Dungeons and Dragons, right?
Yeah.
Like any sorcerer has or magic missile, right?
Yeah, magic missile is an actual spell, right?
It's like a level 1 spell,
Yeah.
I think.
But
I'll be corrected on that probably if I'm wrong.
Yeah, you will.
But
You're gonna get the actually.
Actually, it's level 2. That's fine. I need to be corrected if I'm wrong.
That's fine. We welcome all actualities here.
Totally fine. Actually. Yeah, missile. So, yeah, immediately lean toward the magic part of it, not a real missile, because that would take us out of our fantasy time pretty quick.
Well, hold on. Before you dive into that. Yes, we're not having an actual modern day missile like a nuke. We're not going to do that. But what if you took the idea of that, right? Like there's a giant missile that has a lot of explosive, destructive power that, a nation or many nations hold. But instead of being, modern day like it is today, just say it was a bunch of wizards got together and they could somehow store their magic into this one thing, taking years to build it. It's a giant bomb. So what I'm saying is you could still do the idea.
You could build
of
a magical atom bomb.
Yeah.
Just
so
power it with magic missile and not, rocket fuel.
Could do that.
You could. I don't want to do that. I'm not a big fan of big arms races, and I feel like that's what this would be if we got into that.
Yeah.
So I want to lean more towards developing like not a line of magic, because we're within the Dungeons and Dragons world. So we have those rules on us.
It's already established.
So I'm not going to make up any new cool way to do magic, because that would probably go against the rules of D&D.
Because then we'd have to make new rules, and I am not prepared or qualified.
Yeah. Or we can talk about how somebody else is developing a new way to do magic missile. Or missiles in general.
To do missiles in general?
Yeah, like a devious scheme to use, like kind of what you're talking about with the arms race kind of a thing. But I'm thinking like evil mastermind is forming a plot to unleash magic missile powers in large effect on people.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking of.
So like
I don't know,
the level 1 spell, but on super steroids, somehow this wizard was able to make into just like a...
Yeah, like maybe he can like mind control a whole embassy of wizards and they're all going to cast magic missile just at will. They're just going to go willy-nilly casting it on everybody in a town, like a whole force
just
of wizards
postal.
Just magic missiling all the inhabitants of a town. That's what I'm thinking.
That is pretty gruesome.
Yeah, or there's like, a league of undead monsters that can cast magic missile, and he leads them.
Well, that's just that. Okay, I mean, like
I don't know why magic missile is
yeah.
the
Why
spell
is it
that
magic missile? Seems too
know,
forced.
because we said missile. Yeah,
It sounds like you just
Because
want to
you
have a
said the word
necromancer who controls an undead
but he has undead
army.
magicians. Yeah, undead mages, I guess, mage skeletons that can shoot magic missile at people. And that's not that all they shoot, but maybe he says like magic missile fire time, and then all the mages just at once shoot a magic missile at
So
somebody.
he's a villain from like an 80s cartoon with the catchphrase.
Exactly. Yeah, he says the catchphrase, and then all the mages go like, "That's my cue, missile time," and then they all shoot.
Start
missiles.
murdering not just the Jedi, but the women and
Yeah,
children
like before.
too.
Yeah, exactly. Before that time, they're just doing whatever. They're like disorganized mob of chaos that's unleashed on a city. But then it really ramps up when the guy says, magic missile time, and then they all like just shoot magic missiles. It'd be devastating.
That would be
Right?
devastating. It's a little. I don't
Imagine
know.
a group of adventurers going up against a band of skeletons, and all of a sudden a guy comes out of the woods and shouts, "Magic missile time!"
Magic
and then
missile
all the
time!
skeletons, out of nowhere, just no initiative at all. They just fire magic missiles at everybody.
They do 3 points of
You'd be
damage
dead.
to everybody.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if there was like 30 skeletons, that's devastating. There's no coming back.
Oh
from
yeah, death by a massive amount of magic missiles.
that. Death by 1,000 cuts. Death by 1,000 magic missiles.
1,000 magic missiles.
I like the idea. I'm not giving up on it yet.
Okay, I mean we don't have to. We don't have to.
More of the idea of a bad guy that is a necromancer that controls a bunch of skeletons and can, unleash them at his will.
Okay, so I like that. So obviously that's where you're trying to go. So I will go down that path with you. Because remember, people listening, just because I said the word missile, if you've ever listened to our podcast, doesn't mean it has to include missiles.
Yeah, I mean, we got to some good world building based off the word. Like,
Yes.
if you didn't say that, I wouldn't have gotten here.
Yes.
So
The word
this is how we're
missile
here.
is just to get the blood pumping. That's it.
Yeah.
So, okay, but I also
I mean, maybe.
really,
Who knows? Maybe the DM, when he makes this campaign, is going to surprise everybody and be like, "Gotcha, magic missile time!" And then they
Magic
all get
missile
blasted.
time.
Oh, I would love it.
And then it's a TPK, as they say. We all die
Yep.
because 30 skeletons all casted magic missiles.
Because little do we know, that's the strongest move in the game.
Yep. Yeah, it's just like the cheat code from from the early levels.
Yeah.
Okay. But if we're gonna go that route, I really love necromancers and the idea of a rogue evil necromancer who's been slowly like building up his army. And
And he's like factionless, yeah.
absolutely
He's not with the Sons of Fire, he's not with the
he's for
whatever
sure
the
not with
other
the
one's
Sons of
called.
Fire, and he's for sure not with Leviathan or
is he just because?
well
Just killing because.
okay, well here's another thing. We've only got 2 gods so far in our world, but any good
There's got to be more.
any good D&D world or campaign has a multitude of gods.
There's a ton of them.
So what we established is just that Phoenix and Leviathan were just the originators, like the first. But they don't have to be the only. Other gods can come up from the void and take inhabitants on this planet because they see it. They see that Phoenix made it, and they're like, "Hey, that's a nice place to live. I think I'm going to burrow there."
Yep.
And boom, a god of necromancers is born.
I love it.
So there's definitely, it's not out of the question to have more gods. And so this necromancer can worship a previously unknown or mostly unknown god.
Yeah.
And that can be his reasoning.
He's like the one guy that is really for the cause of this god.
Yeah.
Or the major guy, not the one guy, the major guy.
Yeah.
Who is following this person.
Yeah, there's always worshipers of stuff everywhere, but he's the one that actually matters.
Maybe this god, like, people worship him, but they don't do it like openly. Maybe they live in the towns and they say, "Oh yeah, we're for Leviathan," but then at nighttime they're lighting candles in their basement, kind of a thing.
Yeah, it's just a classic everyday cult, you know.
Yeah.
We've already got one with Malachi leading them. Why not another with
Malachi?
Ezekiel.
Was it Ezekiel or Magic?
It was Malachi. Yeah.
Okay. Is this Ezekiel now?
Is this Ezekiel? Is this the one?
I think so. I think it is. It's Ezekiel and his army of undead.
Ezekiel, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know if I like that for a necromancer.
Ezekiel?
I feel like Ezekiel should be the comic relief of. I got it. This is perfect. We have the necromancer who's purely evil. He's all about trying to kill, people. But the first zombie that he has, his assistant, the Ren to his vampire, what's the guy's name? Renfro or whatever, the Dracula's assistant.
Uh-huh.
That's what we're talking about. We have the mad scientist and his dumb assistant, but ever loyal. And the assistant's name is Ezekiel, and he's comic relief because he's so dumb. And he's like headless or something like that, or his head can fall off at any time.
Okay.
So we have ourselves a comedic evil duo.
We have a comedic evil duo, which is cool.
Unwitting though, they don't want to be. This guy is pure evil.
Yeah. Okay.
But he also says, "Magic missile time."
Magic missile time. It's very comedic.
He says it unironically because he thinks that it sounds like really cool in his head.
Yeah, like that's the thing.
And that's his villain origin story though, because he's been saying crap like that ever since he was a youth, and they've always laughed at him. But he's like, I don't understand it. Dork. This sounds so cool.
Not cool. It is not cool, man.
But he stuck with it. He stuck with it.
And they're like, no, this is cool.
Yeah, this is a tragic origin story for this necromancer.
Yeah. You know what would be cool? I just thought of this while you were talking.
Uh-huh.
And I was just kind of quickly looking it up. Kind of tying these factions, each of them into... I don't know if this is possible because I don't know a ton about this topic. But tying each of them, if we create 4 of them, into one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. And like these 4 factions are fighting each other all the time. And it eventually leads to end of the world situation. I think that would be cool. I don't know if that's possible to work into this, like assigning each one their own trait, which would kind of give them their own more traits as a faction if you give them like one of the horsemen. Because they all had different things, right? They all had different things.
I guess, yeah. That's why they're 4, because they're distinct. Yeah. So are you saying like
different things to do?
Like we come up with 4 major cities and nations, and each one has its own kind of attribute from one of the 4 horsemen?
Yeah, and like it's not like told directly, but it symbolizes one of the 4 horsemen. And in this world, it's like these 4 are bringing forth the end of the world, but through their actions of fighting and killing each other kind of a thing.
Okay, so that then this Four Horsemen motif is something that we as the authors know, but the people, in the world.
Yeah, it's not spelled out in the world like we are the white horse. Like,
right.
It's not that. It's just
so
like
these people are
just
like unwittingly.
we've kind of given them these traits, and if people read into it really good, they're like, wait a minute, this all lines up with this thing.
Okay, well,
and savvy readers can figure it out.
Yeah, it sounds like then that we need to put in some sort of prophecy early on that would say like there will be four horsemen, some poem or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
Which we kind of worked on with Phoenix saying, foretelling that there's going to be bad times coming up. There's going to be darkness. I'm going to be gone. We kind of started on that vein.
Yeah.
So maybe if we tweak that a little bit, we can just add on like there's going to be everyone contributing to the end of the world kind of a thing, and people need to stop.
Okay. Yeah, because that is something that we left wide open, was like the reason why Leviathan is chasing or following after Phoenix. Are they really in a war, like in a battle? Is he really trying to extinguish her light? Like we left that open. So, and with the whole vision thing that the Phoenix Born get, and they're all interpreting it differently, so nobody really knows like what she's trying to say. That sounds like a major plot twist at the end of a book, is what that is. So
yes, it does.
And these four nations unwittingly playing a part in the end of the quote unquote end of the world by having some sort of tie-in to a Four Horsemen type of thing. Does the Four Horsemen, that comes from the Bible, right? Originally?
Yeah. I was just quickly scanning through this, and the reason I thought of this is because we were talking about Ezekiel, the name, but Ezekiel lists the Four Horsemen as sword, famine, wild beasts, and plague. So those would be the four
Ooh, I really like that.
attributes for one of the cities. So sword is like obviously like warring faction. Famine would be someone who's, the weaker one, I guess. Wild beasts, maybe they're just wild in the a wild faction of like forest dweller people who are just like barbaric.
Uh-huh.
And then plague, maybe the people who are like concocting things to spread and kill people that way. Like, I think there's a lot we could do with that. And it sounds really cool to tie one of these attributes to each of the nations, like kind of these things, to see what we can do with it.
Hold on. So you said sword, famine, wild beasts. Sword 1, famine 2, wild beasts 3, 4 was plagues.
Yes, plague. Yeah.
So this is awesome. I love this. So here's an idea. So what if, kind of just like you said, so are these nations representative of this in that they bring forth these things, or they are suffering from these things? For example, let's say the plague is would one nation be suffering from a plague at this time, or are they like the Forsaken in World of Warcraft that constantly develop plagues, and that's like their main source of warfare?
I think it's the latter thing. So I think
I like that.
They are these. They're bringing these things to the world.
Right.
So the second one is bringing famine to other nations. Maybe they're
like a war of attrition.
Cutting off. Yeah, maybe they're sieging people, or they're cutting off supply lines. Like that's their thing. That's what they do. And so
I got it for that one.
They're good at that.
You just said that for famine.
Uh-huh.
Instead of using that as a form of warfare, because that's like kind of hard to do. Besides, like the whole, they did it in the medieval ages, like where they would actually do the attrition, just let you sit in your castle till you die.
A town. Yeah.
What if instead of that, these people, this is going to be like the most locked down, like empire, kind of like a tyrannical type of place, where instead of doing that to other people, this is what they do to their own people, because they're such a tyrannical place. The main city is this beautiful, maybe not beautiful, but just this well set up, great place. Yeah. But then the outskirts of their nation, if you're an adventurer and you visit that nation, all you see is people starving to death. And so this nation represents famine in that regard, because the people are suffering from famine. starvation.
Okay, that's good. Love it.
Yes.
I like this whole idea. So we gotta remember this when we're talking about these nations now.
Yeah. Well, what's
Just to remember.
what's Umbra going to represent? The sword?
Umbra? Well,
because we talked about how cool their military was.
They are super cool, but are they aggressive? Like, do they bring that to the world? Are they attacking other people to like get them in line?
No,
because that's kind of what the Sons of Fire do. But the Sons of Fire are also actively plaguing their own people. They're giving them this concoction to turn them into Sons of Fire. Ooh. So it's kind of both.
Well, what if we say that the Sons of Fire are the conglomeration? Because they're recruiting zealous youth from all over the world. So they're going to take. What if they take the worst of all these things and they're
just like a neutral in this Four Horsemen idea?
Well, they're
just taking from all.
They're like the final form, the ultimate form of this Four Horsemen, because they're recruiting kids.
The Fifth Horseman.
They're recruiting kids who suffered from famine, right? So these kids know what famine's like, and they're like they want revenge. They're going to recruit, the barbarians or whatever that are constantly taming wild beasts, and they bring that to the Sons of Fire as well. And then there's people from the Plague Nation or whatever. So like these kids come from all over the world that know these different attributes. And just this Sons of Fire cult becomes like the ultimate horseman.
Yeah. Or it could be like they're posing themselves as like a Christ in this situation. They are the savior and redeemer of this world. Okay. So they're that like not a horseman, but they're saying like this is what we will bring. We will get rid of all this stuff. We're going to get rid of plague, famine, sword. We're going to get rid of it all. So join us and then we will save you, kind of a thing. Right. Even though they're crazy and super fanatical, that's how they're positioning themselves.
Okay, so a little more plot twisting here. So we could say that Malachi, the leader of the Sons of Fire, although he's crazy and, very dangerous and probably a bad guy in our campaign, he is the only one who truly sees this prophecy for what he sees, the truth of the prophecy that the four nations are representing this four thing. And so he is doing, just like you said, he sees himself as like a redeemer figure.
Oh, because he saw the truth, and he's the only one who actually saw the real truth. Yeah. And he said, this has to stop, and I'm the only one who can save us.
I'm the only one who can save it, and it has to be by extreme means.
Yeah, like we have to get rid of these people because they will bring the end.
Yeah, he's like, these nations are the ones that are killing everybody. They're going to be the end of all of us. Even the nations that think they're good, like Umbra. Who think they're good and neutral and just chilling. Yeah. He's like, even you are playing a part. So
I like it.
So that adds a little.
I like it a lot.
It complicates their story because they're not just a pure evil zealot cult. They're, they're a bad guy, but they have intentions that they believe are right, which, every bad guy does. Every good bad guy.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay, so I like the idea then.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, let's keep on to that. Maybe we'll not get too into it now, but when we talk about like these three, I'm gonna say the undead person is kind of a nation. Maybe there's a lot of them. Maybe he's in a city. I don't know. Maybe there is a city of like necromancy and devious deeds, kind of a thing. Maybe. Maybe he belongs to that city, and that's our second now nation. So we have Umbra and we have Necromancer Town.
Town.
Or it's just like, it's like a slum town or it's not a great city to be in. It's not all necromancy, but they have a presence there.
Yeah, I was thinking
they're like the ones who lead the town, and that's why they are one of the horsemen in this situation.
Like on the outside it's just like a so-so town city, but if you really live there and spend time, you see that like it's controlled by the necromancers, the bad people.
Yeah,
they really
and I would
make all
list them
decisions.
as the plague in this one.
Absolutely.
Because we can delve into why later, but obviously they're doing some devious stuff, poisoning people to get more skeletons in their army.
Yeah.
Kind of a situation.
For the good of their god, whoever that is.
Yeah, and instead of doing it under the cause like the Sons of Fire do it in their own way, they're converting people, but they believe they're right. These people are doing it just to destroy and like kill.
Yeah, that's what their god demands. If you want power, you bring more death, you know?
Yeah, so that's the pale horse. They are the pale horse.
The pale horse.
Yeah.
The pale rider. Okay. We're number
Thanatos.
2. Thanatos?
Yeah, that's what he's known as. The fourth horseman is named Death, known as Thanatos.
Well, that's an actual god of death.
And he's the only one who the text itself explicitly gets a name. None of the other ones have names. He does.
So that's from the
Pretty
Bible.
Cool. From the Bible.
So you're
Revelation
saying
chapter 6.
They actually in Revelation they say Thanatos?
I guess this is just what I'm reading.
Interesting. I didn't know that because Thanatos is an actual god of death in Greek mythology.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Word number 2. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
I need my paper. There's my paper. Word number 2 is dice.
What?
Speaking of D&D, I got some dice right here.
I have a lot of dice in my home.
I guess it's
dice.
I don't want to get actual lead again.
You have a single die?
Actually, no, a single.
How many do you have?
A single die. Wait. Die is 1. Dice is multiple.
Die is 1.
Okay,
Dice is
all right.
many.
We were right then. I got some.
No, I was right.
Some
you were
dice
wrong.
right here. No, I didn't commit to it yet.
You have dice.
I have dice right here.
Actually,
You're
you're holding dice. You're holding many die. Well, okay, dice. Yes, you said dice.
Yes, I did.
What do we do with that?
Gamble.
Okay, a gambler.
Make
A
it
cool gambler.
make it a cool.
A mini game.
We're inventing
Like
a
liar's
mini
dice?
game. I don't think we're that good.
Yeah, that'd be pretty tough to do off the top. It's just a cool mini game.
The first thing I thought of was, which maybe we could do, was sort of just riffing off of the concept of dice, saying there's a town whose main export is gambling. You know, like whose main
His dice.
not dice, but gambling. Like
Just dice. Finely cut, perfectly weighted dice.
yeah, you want this nice dice right here. No, you could say like, the idea.
You can't export gambling.
That's not what I'm saying. Their main like source of revenue for the city. The reason people come to this city, it is Las Vegas, right?
So it's a Vegas.
It's a Vegas, and maybe that's the Necromancer Town, because
Possibly, yeah. We could build on that. because
gambling's
it
a
sounds
pretty shady thing, right?
Yeah.
Can be pretty shady. I've seen Ocean's 11.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm also kind of in the mindset to do something that's like a worldwide thing that everybody kind of does, no matter what race or religion or background you have. Everybody has a die.
Everybody knows how to shoot marbles, you know?
Everybody just has one, and they're not gambling. It's just they have one die, and that's like everybody just has one. Like they make them, and somebody has a really nice one. One's made of gold, you know, depending on your status in life. But you have a die, and then anytime there's a decision to be made, or there's a dispute, or you know things like that, they pull their die out and they roll it, and whoever rolls higher, like has the word in that situation. So I think it's like this worldwide known thing of like, if there's disputes and if we can settle it, you know, peacefully with the roll of the die, let's do it. And if we're not settling it peacefully, then, you know, it's to swords or whatever. But if it's not that big a deal, it's like, well, I'll roll you for it. Like, who gets to go first at the crosswalk? And they roll, and then they just go.
Okay, that's actually
something like
that's not
kind of fun.
Not a terrible idea though, because that's actually a pretty good idea. Because if you think about it, what's a custom that pretty much everybody in the world right now recognizes? Like there's clapping, there's a handshake.
Exactly. Yeah, like the hello wave kind of thing. Yeah,
and if you think about it, you're like, how does this mean like hello? All I'm doing is just waving my hand.
Yeah, exactly.
Or even a handshake. It's like, what does this, like the physical touch, I mean, is like a connection between or something. But why a handshake? Why not like touching our cheeks, or like the back of the hand? It could have been anything.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of that. Like, why do you do that?
But it settled on that.
It's just what we do. It's just what we do.
So I think that it's
so like this dice
viable
thing. Yeah, it could be like it's just custom. Like everybody does it, and it's like one of those things. It's like it is what it is. Like if you roll a die and you get lower than the next guy, like you lost. Like that's it. And no one like
it's
fights
respected.
For it.
Yeah.
They don't like argue about it. They don't try to cheat it. There's not like they don't use weighted dice. It's just like their tradition of like luck of the die. Like that's what it was. It wasn't my day to get first in line or whatever it was. But there are situations where the dice don't come out. It's like people just fight each other just because. Yeah. But sometimes like people are like, "Oh, I'll just roll you for it," and it's okay, great, and you just got to roll for it.
Yeah, just like I want to say it's parallel, just like the handshake. Like there's some people who you won't shake their hands just because you just hate them. You just don't like them. There's just
exactly
some people in this world you won't like, and that's good advice I got back in my youth. Was an old man said that there's some people in this world you just won't like, and that's okay.
And that's fine.
You don't need to like everybody. But that's what I'm thinking of is, for general, just everyday life for an everyday worker who doesn't, it's not a D&D adventurer traveling the world. Regular disputes or decisions of any kind or whatever. Who's going to pay this tab? Everybody roll. It's just a naturally accepted thing.
Yeah, it's like it's not like you're not going to roll over like who's going to marry this woman. It's like it's not like big decisions. It's always like something that's pretty trivial, but instead of like like rock paper scissors or whatever you do, it's like we'll just roll for it.
Just roll for it.
And but there have been known to be situations where there is some pretty costly things lost to a dice roll. If people agree on it, they can, and it is what it is. It's final.
Oh yeah, there's some
it's like a
myths
safe
out there.
It's a safe gamble. In gambling, it's like there's always like bookies. If you lose, you get beat up kind of a thing. This is like super safe because like if you bet, I'll give you 20 grand on a dice roll, and if you win or lose, it's like there's nobody chasing you. You pay up, and that's it, kind of a thing.
Yeah, I think too.
And there's no hard feelings. It is what it is.
I think this tradition would lead to something of a reverence or respect worldwide toward the chaotic nature of life too, like a respect toward
it.
Because people would say things are left up to chance, so let's just accept it for how it is. That's fate. So I think they're big believers in fate. I wasn't fated to win to win today.
Exactly.
Wasn't fated to die today, So I think the dice represents more than just let's make a quick decision, but it represents kind of the culture and the mindset of the world at large.
Yeah, I think that's super cool. It's like a revered thing that's so simple,
and
so basic, but it's like it is what it is, and chance is like as important as anything else in our world.
Yeah.
So
I think these people
that's cool.
should wear their die like around their neck or something too. Like I don't know, like
in a little pouch or
something,
something,
like an accessory, or just straight up there. I don't know, or I don't know. I don't think people would maybe they would just carry it in their pocket, but I feel like I would lose it.
Maybe everybody's got like a dice bag that they have somewhere
just attached to their
like a.
Tunic.
Maybe it is a necklace. Yeah, like a little sack on a necklace that they always wear around.
Or they just choose to wear it wherever. Some dude's got it on a necklace or on an earring, a necklace.
Yeah,
a ring,
like
maybe.
Showing off his die. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like this is what it is.
But at any time, he can just whip that thing off and roll it.
Yeah, and if you lose it, or if you leave it at home or something, it's like, well, today, like, chance is not on my side because I don't have my die, so I can't.
Yeah.
If I want to, make my way up in the lunch line, I can't because I don't have my die. So, darn.
I don't know. I kind of want to say too that if you forgot your die, it almost would be like, I want to say it would be like if I forgot or somehow lost my wedding ring. Like I may not feel it at first, but like halfway through the day or a part of the way through the day, I'd be like, wait a second, something is wrong. And then it would take me a minute, but I'd be like, oh like, no, crap. My ring. Dang it. I think it's happened like once or twice to me where it's like halfway through the day, I'm like, oh shoot. And you just total panic mode.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something like that.
And you feel just weird during the day, you just feel off.
Yeah, you feel a little off, a little naked. You're just like, where's my die? I don't have my die.
Where did I put my die?
I'm down for that. That adds a little extra flavor to our world.
Yeah, because I love it in the D&D campaign sense because you're always rolling dice. And then this one is like, in the world, your character is rolling a dice. So when you're rolling it, your character's actually rolling it. So like, and the DM is rolling for their character. And it's like, oh, yeah, I won.
Yeah, I won. And this is exactly what's happening in the D&D world, too.
Yeah, it's a 1-to-1.
Yeah. But I really like the idea once we get more into building this world, keeping in mind that these people have an immense respect for, I guess in the end, it would be like an immense respect for nature, the chaotic nature of the world. Like I could walk outside these gates and a wyvern could come and swoop down and kill me. And that's just the roll of the dice, baby. That's the way it goes.
That just happens. Yeah. And so they bring it to everyday life. It's like, that's just what it is.
Yeah. That's really interesting.
Anyone could have won today. Anybody could die today too.
That's really interesting. Okay. Yeah. I like that a lot. The die has been cast, as what's his name said? Julius Caesar.
Did he?
He did. Alia iacta est. Except
he said, "Et tu, Brute."
Et tu, Brute. Yeah, he said all those things.
He probably said a lot.
Yeah, he said a lot of things. He was a tyrant, technically speaking.
He was a great ruler.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a definition for the word tyrant, and he was one. So, not necessarily like a terrible thing. It's just that's how he led. Tyranny.
Yeah. To each his own, I guess.
Okay. Do you want to go into any more detail on die, like how it came into being, or what?
No, but I do want to say that there's like
what they look like.
There's dice makers in the world, and that's like a pretty good profession. It's like better than like a shoemaker or something. It's like a step up from that kind of stuff.
Okay.
It's almost like a jewelry cutter, like in our day, like very fine jewelry details.
Yeah.
Like you walk into a dice shop and there's all these different dice, and it's like there's some that have like little gemstones in them. There's some that are just wood, some out of stone, some out of this fine ores and precious metals or whatnot. They all do the same thing, obviously. They all have six sides on them, and they all have.
Is it just a six-sided die? Is that what we're?
It's just a six-sided regular die. Okay. That's it, and they just roll it.
What age?
Yeah, but I want to believe. What age did you get your first die?
Yeah, because this feels like a rite of passage. Because
it does,
right? Because it's like, all right, kid, you're 8 years old now. Now it's time for you to realize life's going to be tough. You might lose sometimes. So here's that representation of it. Here's a die.
Yeah, like at best it's a 50-50. So
yeah,
it's just like life
at best.
So I'm thinking like 12, like more of a young man,
more accountable, more like up to it. Here's the die. There it is.
There's your die. Six-sided die. So that's age of 12. Your parents take you into the dice maker, and he looks at you kind of like, the scene in Harry Potter where he goes and gets wand. Yeah. He's got like shelves of different boxes.
Unicorn hair, whatever.
He's like sniffing. He's like, Yes.
Yes.
You're a son of a knight, huh?
Yes,
Okay.
your father once.
See, what does your mother do?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yes, I see. He's like shuffling through his different dice boxes. And
Yeah.
Like, this one's made of finest mahogany.
Yeah, like this one's made of the tusk of an elephant.
Yeah. And he's like, give it a roll,
Ivory.
kid. And the kid rolls it. He's like, I don't like the way that rolled. Let me try another one. And he like gives
Oh,
you a
I
different
love
one.
that. That's perfect. The die maker shop is exactly like one for one the shop from Harry Potter.
Yeah, exactly. All the boxes on the shelf. And it's like,
He's got the ladder.
some of them start
rolls.
like, vibrating when the kid walks in. He's like, oh, this dice is calling to you.
That's the one.
Yep, this is the one.
It's the one. Whether or not it's like a scam or not, people don't know.
Yeah,
People
who
don't care.
knows? Yeah. Yeah, as long as they feel it, it's like, yeah, this is the one for
Yeah, he's
me.
like, yeah, this is it. This is my die.
Yeah. So
That's cool.
That's what I want it to be. It's super cool.
That would make for a really, really interesting D&D exchange.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to be in that dice maker shop and just see what's going on.
That's funny. Yeah, I'm good with that. And every city's got it. Every city's got.
Yeah, every city's got one.
Die
There is
maker.
one though in all the world that people are like, but now you can go to this one and get a die for you, and it's great. Or you can travel, to this place in this city. This one guy, he makes the best, and it's the revered shop. Not everybody can go to it, obviously, because a lot of poor people live in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And they're very expensive, and you have
True.
to travel. But he makes the best dice of all.
Just the finest weight. It's just perfectly balanced.
Yeah, perfectly.
Just flows right onto the table. Clickety clack.
Yeah,
Right on that 6.
yeah, and it's like, yeah, he doesn't. But like, I'm seeing the smaller dice shops. The shady ones are like trying to scam people. Like, better your odds with my dice.
Yeah.
even though they don't, they're all the same. So
Yeah, it's just in the end, it's just dice. But these people
they
are
haven't
doing,
figured
the
out,
crystal
like-
ball routine.
yeah, they haven't figured out like actually weighting dice and like making it unfair. They're all making the same ones essentially.
Yeah.
But they're just saying like, oh yeah, you can get better than 50% here. So
Yeah, your odds are better. No,
Yeah,
but that's
buy
not
this
true because these things are government regulated.
yeah, they're regulated, and you need to get a real one. If you're not rolling with a legit die, people know, and you get murdered.
Yeah, I
or
feel
something.
like in this
it's
world,
such a bad thing to do.
yeah, in this
To
world
cheat in a dice
that
game.
relies so much on, or that just lives so much with dice every day. If you had a weighted die, anybody would be able to tell. Like this thing is not legit, and it's just a mark of shame too. If you're just an everyday,
Yeah.
like, hey, who's paying for drinks today? Wow, Mark never pays for drinks, and then finds out Mark has a
let's
weighted
see.
die. Mark's outcasted forever. He's gonna get fired from his
No,
job.
it's
you know?
like, yeah, it's like something where like you lose a finger, or like you get a brand on the back of your hand that is like a dice or something, like
Yeah.
like a dice on fire or something. Like that's the symbol. You've been marked forever that you used a weighted die.
And now you have bad luck. It's like you swallowed gum or
Exactly.
walked under a ladder or something like
Yeah.
that. Like,
or if you have that, you can't roll dice anymore. So it's like you can never participate
you're on the
in this
losing
common
side of every decision.
ritual. Yeah, you always lose. It's like, okay, let's roll dice. The other guy rolls. It's like, well, I can't. It's like, okay, well, you lose.
Yeah. Well, then
you didn't roll.
then I go first. That's really cool.
Yeah,
It's like
I like that.
Yeah,
It's
because
a big punishment.
because it's again, it goes back to the reverence for nature. Like this guy thought he was better than the gods. He thought he was better
Yeah.
than fate, and
Yeah,
you're
he
not.
cheated fate.
And I don't want to be near that energy. That's bad feng shui. If I'm next to a dude that thinks he's better than Mother Nature, So
Yeah, so they're
we're not.
outcast.
Yeah, he's outcasted. Interesting.
And a bunch of those people live in the Pale City,
Of course.
is what I'm thinking. That's like kind
outcasts.
of where they go. That's kind of like their refuge of like, we're all outcasts here.
Yeah, because
That's
maybe
why it's so
maybe
bad.
part of their belief too is that you can fight against nature. That's why they can raise the dead.
That's why they're raising the dead, because they're trying to control chaos.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're like, you can,
Yeah.
and we are, and we're going to show the world with our plague.
Yep,
Of
with the
undeath.
plague. We're going to release the plague on you fate believers.
Yeah.
We're just going to
Yeah, yeah.
let it loose. We got it. That's the perfect town right there.
That is a great town. That's a great villain origin story for a whole group of people.
Yeah.
I love it.
Cheated at dice rolling. So now we're going to kill the world.
But I think it's more the principle of it, not just that they got caught with dice rolling, but the principle that fate sucks. I don't believe it.
Yeah. All right, let's go to word 3.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Let's get to word number 3. Time is short. Word number 3
is short.
Word number 3 is protest.
Protestation.
Nope. Protest.
Prostration.
The word is protest, as in, I don't like that. I'm
To
protesting.
stand up for something you believe in.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
Okay, there's protests that go on. Yes.
Yes. So we could
Yes, of course.
just gonna give you a little jingle here. So what if we're building the world with our center point being our D&D campaign? So we can start building a city based off of right now there are protests happening. Doesn't have to be like an everlasting the city is always in protest, because that doesn't make sense.
Okay.
But now there is something happening, and we can go into why if we want, or whatever.
So I think we should make this happen in either the new Pale City or Umbra. Just given we're about to wrap this up for this episode, and I don't want to start a new city.
Yeah, I don't want to start something new. And if we're gonna build it in one of those two, I don't see the new Pale City being much about
it's not a big protest town.
Because if there is any protest, you probably just get killed.
Yeah, like what are you protesting? Like, I don't like the outcasts. Well, we're all outcasts.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, that's why.
So it's probably an Umbra.
Yeah, because Umbra's more of. We kind of built that as kind of like almost a paradise. Almost like it's a very good city. So
it's a good city. There is slums on the outside.
Yeah,
like towards the land.
So
further to the land.
That seems like an ideal place for protesting.
I'm thinking the protest has to do with the tower of knowledge.
Yeah, release his tax records.
Yeah, exactly. Give us his tax records.
Give
me his birth certificate.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Where is he from? Yeah,
go back to where you came from.
This is, yeah, exactly. We say we want to see what's on. Yeah, it's like the farmers and stuff who are the Midwesterners who are always like, I was abducted by an alien. It's those people who are protesting. They're like, I saw something in the sky, and I know you have it written in your books.
Yeah, it's in your books. It's because the people can only get to floor 2 or something, remember?
Yeah.
We said only those first 2 levels are to the public. Everything else is locked, and there's like 20 floors.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're probably like, we know you have alien stuff in there.
Yeah, you've got things to explain what's happening, like what we're seeing, so show us.
Explain why I got probed. You know what's going on. You just don't want to tell me. Now I sound like a crazy man.
Yeah.
But I got probed, okay?
They put things in me.
Yeah.
It was uncomfortable.
So protests happening at the tower. Just holding, they want to know what goes on up there. And I kind of talked about this in one episode, was like maybe a quest line would be getting to the top part of the tower because people really are upset.
Yeah,
at the librarian and why we can't go up the tower.
Yeah, maybe you talk to the head protester and he's like, "Hey, I'll pay you to get up there."
Yeah, he's the quest giver. He's the
quest giver, and you take his side.
We have sources. We have a guy on the inside.
Of course they do.
Yeah. Who said there's some weird stuff going on? They've only gotten to level 4, and even there's some stuff he can't tell us. So
my cousin works for the government. He told me.
Yeah.
He told me. There. I know what happens in Area 51.
That's exactly what it is like. There are all these like people, but I mean, a lot of them are like well-founded ideas that they're holding knowledge from us.
Oh yeah, that's the base of the.
If this is just a tower of knowledge, everyone should be entitled to this.
Yeah.
Not just you, not just 10 people. Everyone should.
Right.
And they're doing the librarian and his crew are doing what they see as right because knowledge is dangerous. So if you give this to everyone, bad things are going to happen.
Right.
So only a select few can know the things that they know.
Right. But to the rest of the people, it seems like
but people
elitist,
don't see it that way.
You know?
They see it as, no, if you know, I want to know.
Right.
So I get to know because this is a free country.
This is my country.
I thought this was America.
What did we decide? We decided upon their accent last time. Was it the Midwestern accent?
It was a Southern accent.
Okay, so I was close. I'm gonna stick with it.
It was a Southern accent.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the protesting going on, is access to the tower. We want access up there. And the librarian is coming out and telling people like, well, I would love to let you know what's up there, but I can't.
Yeah.
They're just books with a bunch of stuff that nobody wants to read anyway. It's not important. It's just whatever. So, but really there is a lot of weird, dark stuff in there.
Yeah.
That, people can't know.
Yeah, so, I would imagine they have knowledge about like this necromancer god that we talked about that's mostly unknown, unnamed, but they know about it. They have books about it, but they don't want to speak his name because in our world, remember, language is powerful. And so they don't want to be doing that. Right. It's very much like the Voldemort thing, like he shall not be named. And then they have...
Yeah, you give them power.
Yeah, they have... and they know, like reality is, even in our world, that... knowledge is power. That's a real thing.
Knowledge is power.
Knowing is half the battle. But knowledge is power, and some people are just kind of too dumb to know more. We all know somebody like that, It's like, you aren't ready for this. It's like...
Yeah, a lot of people aren't ready for the truth of things.
Because if they knew the truth, they would go insane. They would, things would go crazy. There'd be chaos. If we today knew the truth of everything that was going on, there would be chaos.
Yeah, like why governments work the way they do, why wars are happening.
Yeah, like what's really going behind the scenes.
There's real reasons behind those things.
These world banks, like there's lots of shady stuff that goes down. But sometimes it's better for the populace to live in that's what they say, at least, is better for the populace to live in ignorance and just keep going their daily duties and doing their work, being good people. But
being good sheeple.
Yep, good sheeple. Wake up, people.
Just wake up. And then burn in knowledgey fire is what would happen.
But it's just, there's some people in this city who are starting to be like, I don't like how there's just, like you said, I don't like how there's only like a council of people, like 10 or 12 people who they're the only ones who can access the large majority of this tower.
That's the part they don't like. They don't care because they're like, they don't care about what's in the books. They care that they can't see it.
Right.
And that's what they care about. Like, being denied is the part.
Yeah.
Not the part where you can't, what it is. It's just the fact that you can't. It's a mystery and they want in.
Yeah, that's human nature too, is if I can't do that, I want to go do it,
Yeah, don't tell me I can't read those books.
Yeah.
I'll read all those books.
I will read every book in this library.
Yeah.
So it's
tell me what I can't do.
Okay, so then what we did in the last little section is we just built a quick quest line because we have our two opposing sides,
basically,
right?
Yeah.
Depending on who the party talks to first. If you talk to the curator first, me, or if you talk
stop the protesters.
Yeah, like
or if you talk to the protester guy,
something.
It's get in there. They're devious. And it's like, so who do you believe? What do you do?
Yeah, who do you believe? Who's right? Because then on one side you gain the alliance of this powerful council.
Yeah.
Or on the other side, you have the opportunity to gain some pretty great secret knowledge.
You know what I'm seeing in the campaign? Two of the players are like, one of the players is like, I think we should go in the tower. And the other player's like, no, the librarian seems like a cool dude. Maybe he's right. And the player's like, roll time. And then they roll the dice. And then that decides what route they take.
Yeah. And then if you're correctly role playing, you live by the die, right? So you're
it's like, all right,
shoot, I lost.
Let's go.
Fate dictates that we go up to this
the tower it is.
We start murdering curators.
Yeah, even though I didn't want to. I thought he was a cool dude. Sorry, curator. I rolled the die. And he's like, I understand.
Oh, imagine how cold that would be.
I understand.
Yeah, in some situations, too. You're like, sorry, man. We rolled the dice. And
like whether to let him live or die. And it's like, Yeah, the rogue's like, let's just kill him and get out of here. And the paladin's like, no, we can't kill him. Can't kill anybody. And they're like, well, we got to roll.
Got to roll for it.
It's like, sorry, we rolled.
Dang, there's a lot of moral
That's fun.
problems there.
But it's so, because of
That's juicy.
the reveredness of the dice roll, it's like, it makes everything
Everybody.
lawful. Like, you have to do it.
Yeah.
Like, you can't not do it.
Even the paladin is like, all right, man. Like,
He's
you
like,
do
it
the
was
killing, but I'm
was
not going to
fate.
stop you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it's
was fate. Like, I can't fight fate. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Like, my God believes in it. Like, everybody knows it. It's
Yeah.
a thing.
Which,
So,
by the way, a paladin of the Phoenix sounds dope.
it does sound dope. So does a paladin of the Leviathan.
Paladin of the Moon, too, yeah. Very cool. Yeah,
That's
so
pretty dope.
we can get into that later. But, okay, yeah, that's cool how you can just roll the dice, and it's now
Yeah.
part of the canon.
Yeah,
rolling
as
the
like a
dice.
party, you're rolling dice, not just because like you have them on the table. It's like, no, this is a thing in the world. We're gonna roll dice.
We disagree, we roll dice. But then also the interesting thing for me is that the players, according to their role playing, they have to respect it. So you can't just be like, no, I'm gonna fight against it because my character
Yeah,
is
you
good.
can't.
It's like, no,
You
your
can't
character,
RP your way out of it.
yeah, your character's good, but your character also respects the laws of nature. So
Yeah, if he goes against the dice roll, he's gonna get branded, and he doesn't want that.
yeah, by the other players in the
Yeah,
in the party.
exactly.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
it's like, no, this guy went against the dice, so too bad.
It's too bad, man. You're branded that you think you're better than fate.
Yeah, that's so fun. I like it.
That's
I like
cool.
it a lot.
We should give them a name too, like a one-word name, like a fate denier, fate something.
Oh, for the people who go against the
Yeah,
roll.
for the like a fate trader or something like that, like a one-word
trader.
conglomerate, like cool word you could say. Because then you could build build a character that's already a fate trader or something like that.
Oh, trying to somehow regain his dice.
Yeah,
Like maybe there's a long, hard path that no one's done, but one character's trying to do it, kind of a thing.
yeah. Just like
'Cause it's
years
too
of
hard.
atonement or something.
Yeah.
Or you have to get super like 1 in a trillion chance lucky with something. Like, I don't know, like you have to do some sort of like jump off a mountain and live, like
You have to prove to people that fate is still with you or something.
yeah, that's
like,
fate's on your side.
yeah, something like that to regain it. But it's like the chances are not good.
Yeah, it is like
that to happen.
getting struck by lightning. Like that's like good luck.
Yeah, and then surviving. You're like, okay, well,
Yeah,
obviously
coming back
this
to tell the
guy's-
tale. Yeah, that'd be interesting. That's how you have to. Yeah, we can dig into that next time or later.
But like people have to see it too, because that's even harder.
yeah, people have to witness
Get
it.
struck by lightning and have someone see it and to survive. And so it's like,
And then you say, "Is that
Crazy.
good enough?"
yeah,
Can I get
can
my
I have
dice
my dice back, please? Yeah,
Hey.
that's cool. I like it.
All right. I think that wraps us up then. We're done here
I think we're done.
with this episode. So the words were missile, dice, and protest. And I think we nailed it.
Great words.
And we got something of a second city built out, the Pale City, which I think is a pretty decent name. Just call it the Pale City. So
yeah,
I'm
is
gonna,
that what we're calling it?
I think so.
That's what I was calling it, but just because of the pale horse. But I like the pale city.
Also,
That's cool.
Yeah, we could call it the Pale City. Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna work with that. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with that. So thanks everybody for tuning in this time to the episode of our continuous world building of still unnamed world. But we named Umbra and the Pale City, and we got some cool culture going on, some really cool stuff. So if you liked what you heard today, please drop us a like, a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. That goes a long way to help us out. And also, if you would like to, drop us some 3 words or your own comments like some have before, and we'll talk about it on the stream, or on the podcast.
No stream.
No stream. Story at heroesandthieves.co. Give us a write and we will talk about it.
Yep, sounds good. I got nothing other than goodbye.
Okay. Goodbye.